wanted to rap before all the beef with 50 and all of that stuff. He came to Def Jam and presented a demo. 50? Yeah, that's what he said. He says he presented a demo and you all rejected his.
Well, I rejected him a lot. Like I was blocking him. Quite honestly, because he was shitting on us.
Even before there was beef?
He like was shitting on us. Murder, your life's on the line.
That was early.
Yeah, he was shitting on us from the conception of his career. He was coming at us. So anybody who called me, they would call me when he would leave the office and say, yo, 50's over with interesting times. So I put him with me. Don't call me for no records, don't call me for nothing. So I basically, but I hated on him to where he landed with him and Dre.
Right.
I'm a way smarter person now. I would organize his deal and control it. I could have controlled it because I was so hot.
The boy that would one day become one of the most famous figures in music grew up in a time when a new genre of music was emerging and taking over black culture. In the 1970s, a Bronx, New York DJ
and DJ Kool Herc set up 2 turntables and a microphone
known as Kool Herc began using 2 turntables to extend the breakbeats on popular R&B and funk records. Later, party MCs would say rhymes over the breakbeats to keep the crowd moving. The new style of music quickly became popular among young partygoers and kids in the inner city. In Hollis, Queens.
You from Queens?
The same neighborhood as pioneering hip-hop group Run DMC. A young Irving was inspired to be a part of hip-hop culture in the 1980s. He began DJing at the age of 11.
I'm DJing!
By age 15, he was DJing his neighborhood block parties. Now going by the name of DJ Irv, he started putting out self-produced mixtapes, which were moving an impressive amount of units on the streets.
Fire mixtape.
Yo, that Postal mixtape.
He would start DJing and producing records for local artists. His popularity grew. In 1987, he was flown to London to DJ for a Brooklyn rapper by the name of Jaz-O.
Yeah, so he was already around big people, and like, so he already had that mindset of like how to be a business entrepreneur.
While Jaz-O worked on his debut album, Word to the Jazz. While there, Irv would be introduced to Jaz-O's protege, a young Brooklyn MC by the name of Jay-Z.
Say that again. It's Jay-Z.
DJ Irv and Jay-Z hit it off quickly, and Irv would go on to work as Jay-Z's personal DJ. Jay-Z would later give Irv the nickname Gotti. With some financial backing from his older brother, Chris, he co-founded Top Dog Productions. Under his company, Irv would manage a Queens rapper, Mike Geronimo. Irv secured Geronimo would deal with independent record label TVT Records. In 1995, Geronimo released his debut album, titled The Natural, executive produced by Gotti. Although the album did not perform well commercially, it contained a standout track titled Time to Build, which featured Gotti's friend and partner, Jay-Z, as well as an unknown rapper from Yonkers, New York, named DMX.
DMX?
Around the same time, DJ Irv was managing another New York rap act.
Look.
Ja Rule!
A group called the Cash Money Clique. The group featured 3 up-and-coming New York rappers, Chris Black, Nemesis, and Ja Rule.
Who's Ja Rule?
They built up a buzz by releasing the street singles For My Clique and Get the Fortune. Their video would play right after the video for the hit single by Def Jam artist Method Man, titled All I Need, featuring Mary J. Blige.
I remember back in the days they had this shit called the Jukebox Network, where you could dial and pay $1.99 and your video
that
would
broke
play.
Beat Nuts.
That
it
broke
broke
a lot.
everything on Relativity.
Hey, this is how hungry I was. So you new niggas then, y'all don't know nothing about this, but the older heads, they'll tell you about it. There was a network called the Jukebox Network that you could, the box, and you could order your video and pay $1.99. What I did,
Labels used to work it.
I was so hungry back then. This is how I got to Def Jam. Watch this. I had a video called Get the Fortune, right? And it was heavily with Ja on it, right? So I obtained all of the 1-900 numbers because with the box network, it was like if you dialed the 1-900 number, it only was for a certain radius, maybe a 20 to 30 block radius. Then it was a different 1-900 number because you couldn't just, if it was just the whole New York, they wasn't gonna make no money. So I somehow went up to the box network, which was in Florida, and I had got this chick to give me all of the 1-900 numbers. I took that sheet and I took it back and I made the Get the Fortune video. So at the time, Meth and Mary, You're All was the hottest video, the hottest thing. So what I used to do,
Make it play right behind.
I used to go to studios and I would go 1-900 to see if it went through, because it's $1.99, people. So once I seen it go through, I would stay in the studio until they kicked me out and have that sheet of paper and dial a 1-900 all day.
Break the video.
To break the video. And I did it so much, and this shit broke the top 10 at like number 9 because I was thinking. Now, Leo Cohen was doing the same thing, but on a big level.
Throw your guns.
No, for Meth and Mary, You're All I Need. So whenever I seen that video, I would do it, and I still remember the number. It was 728 for my video. That was the code for it. You do the 1-900 and 728. So I would do every time, because I said if people are channel surfing, if they see the video for Meth, they're not gonna turn, they're gonna watch it. So I need to order my shit now so they'll fucking see my shit. And that's exactly what was happening with Leo Cohen. And he's like, who is this little rapper with this big voice? So he found out who I was, brings me and has a meeting with me at Def Jam. I get up to the meeting with him, but he's like, I want Ja. I said, yo, he signed Leo. He wanted to steal him from TVT, but he couldn't. He was signed. But that was my first introduction with Leo.
The video caught the attention of Def Jam executive Leo Cohen, who was using a similar tactic to get Method Man's video played on the box as well. Leo was in awe of Ja Rule, the small kid who had the biggest voice and the most charisma in CMC. Due to the lack of commercial success of Mike Geronimo's album,
You want to hear my new CD?
Ass, 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 ass. That's what it is.
TVT was not going to do anything with Irv's other act. Steve Gotti, the owner of the label, allowed Irv to take Ja Rule to Def Jam.
Will you take him with you?
And then that's when history was made, man. And once he got to Def Jam, it was a wrap. It was hit after hit after hit.
Bringing Ja Rule to Leo, Irv was offered an A&R position at Def Jam Records, giving him the power to sign acts at the world's most famous hip-hop label. On his very first day, Irv began telling Def Jam that he wanted to sign DMX. He met the Yonkers MC on the local rap battle circuit and saw firsthand how talented he really was. But no one at Def Jam believed in Irv's vision and refused to give DMX a chance. Frustrated, Irv quit Def Jam after only a few months. Leo Cohen begged Irv to come back, promising to take him under his wing and to make sure that he had the creative control and freedom that he needed to thrive. Irv would bring Leo to hear DMX freestyle. Immediately impressed by DMX's charisma and flow, Leo would sign the rapper to Def Jam on the spot, exclaiming to Irv, "We've got the pick of the litter." Irv was busy developing Ja Rule as an artist and continued to produce tracks, including the classic track Can I Live off of Jay-Z's critically acclaimed debut album Reasonable Doubt.
Here's the story.
All right.
Okay. I did my little radio thing. I knew everyone from, like, say, Boston to DC. The record was banging from Boston to DC. It had like maybe 500 spins. And I looked at the guys and I said, that's about it. I don't know how to maneuver outside of this thing when we're banging here. So I told them, I said, hey, Kevin Liles is regarded as the best radio promo guy in the business. Bribe him. See if you can't give him a bag and fucking see if he'll work the record.
And who was the other guy that was at Def Jam that passed away? He was behind the Def Jam radio machine. Remember, he passed away.
Wes Johnson.
Yeah,
Wes was.
You always want to build up to Wes, right?
Yeah, Wes was the big guy.
Yeah.
You wanted to get to Wes because when Wes kicked in, your record went.
You used to say that. I was on Def Jam Records. The question always was, where does this have to go for Wes Johnson?
Right. So Kevin Liles does not take he doesn't bite at the bit. He doesn't take the thing, but he said, hey, I have a Nutty Professor soundtrack. Give me the record for the soundtrack. I'll give you some money for the video. And now I could officially work the record because it's on the Nutty Professor soundtrack. He gives him the record. We shoot the video with Big. R.I.P. Big. I miss him. You know what I'm saying? He was big. We had a bunch of fun. He got Jay high. You know what I'm saying? He got Jay because Jay don't really smoke weed. So Big got a thing. And he was like, I got you. And Jay was paranoid. He was like looking around, and we just had a great time. It was just a really that's really good memories of the game. That ain't no nigga video. So boom, Kev takes the record from 500 spins to like 4,000 spins, and now it's like a national hit, and Rockefeller is off the charts. And you know, right, and that's when Leo came to me, and Leo wanted me to be an A&R director and everything, but it was a smart move. They had their eye on Jay and Dame, and Jay and Dame coordinated the label deal.
What did Jay-Z and Dame dash for that first project? Because it was just Jay-Z in the beginning. What was the budget on that, roughly?
The first budget on Reasonable Doubt?
No, yeah, when they come to Def Jam.
Oh, when they come to Def Jam.
First,
it was a 7-figure budget.
750,000.
No, it was a 7-figure.
7 figures, so over $1 million.
Yeah, he was hot, yo.
Oh, over $1 million. Now this is before
the hottest nigga in the streets, Flex.
But this is before. So this is Reasonable Doubt album's out.
It's out.
It's out in the streets selling.
Yes.
And then which was an album that wasn't appreciated till later. Reasonable Doubt, at the time when it was out,
right,
I feel like it wasn't 100% appreciated. But as it went,
I disagree, Flex.
No, I'm gonna tell you why though.
I was his DJ then, and we was touching every town. And listen, they knew the whole
that Nas album.
Okay, so for me, Jay-Z. Which one was it? Did you think the Jay-Z album that picked up was the one after Reasonable Doubt? If I'm correct, Reasonable Doubt was the black and white cover. It's the one. Oh man, I know I can't think of what CD it is right now, but I know it. I know it when I see it though. But yeah, Reasonable Doubt wasn't the one that picked up later on after people realized how good Jay-Z was. People went back to it, and yeah, I agree with Flex on this one.
Nas' album was like 2 years before.
Yo, Gotti went like this.
No, but the Nas album, you talking about Illmatic.
That was the bar. That was the bar.
Yes,
that was the bar.
Illmatic
was the bar.
Ridiculous. There's nothing. Illmatic. Listen, Illmatic to me, that's an album that changed hip hop because he took it from Rakim and Big Daddy Kane, but he took it to another street level shit that they wasn't talking about.
Now I always felt like you know that was what everybody was always. The question was whether that was better. That at the time when that album.
They're both classics, Flex.
Now I gotta put you on the spot. Irv, which album was better?
They're both classics. No, they're both classics.
No. Which one? Look. I
love both albums. I'm being honest.
You don't think anyone's better?
Like I helped make Reasonable Doubt, yo. Like I made Can I Live, my nigga. Like
no.
On February 10th, 1998, Def Jam released DMX's debut single, Get At Me Dog. Gotti arranged for the video to be shot by super director Hype Williams inside the popular New York club known as The Tunnel. The video was filmed in black and white, with the gritty club atmosphere as the backdrop to X's hardcore lyrics. Gotti believed that the gritty imagery was what real hip-hop fans wanted. the complete opposite of the glamorous raps and shiny suits popularized by Puff Daddy and Bad Boy Records during that time.
Heavy comparison. It's similar to when you was puffied out and shiny suited
Correct.
out, and then X said, "And we get at me, dog. Let's take it back to the streets, motherfucker." And it kind of the shiny suits dimmed down, and it was about hood shit and street shit.
And
that's what happens in hip hop.
Jam executives were not happy with the single or the video. They were furious with Gotti for what they saw as wasting the label's money on promoting a single that no one would buy. This only made Gotti more determined to prove his detractors wrong. He went around the office drawing triangles with the 5 on the walls. This was the Billboard chart symbol representing 5 million records sold. Gotti was predicting that X would sell 5 million units. Despite Def Jam's lack of belief in DMX, Get At Me Dog proved to be successful, peaking in the top 40 and top 10 of the pop charts and rap charts respectively. It seemed like Gotti's prediction was right. X's debut album, It's Dark and Hell Is Hot, was released in 1998 and went on to sell 4.5 million records.
Man, that was, oh my goodness, that was like one of his best albums, bro. Even to this day, like that's the only DMX album I remember even listening to. Like, I mean, I had other ones, but this is the one that stand out. Yeah.
With the perfect fusion of commercial and critical acclaim, It's Dark became one of the most successful debuts of a rapper during that era.
Whatever you want, man. Not today, got that new DMX, baby.
With the success of Jay-Z, DMX, and the rising star power of Ja Rule, Gotti conjured up the idea that the three should form a rap supergroup. He would name the trio Murder Inc.
So that's where that name came from.
The plan was for the group to release an album. With their equally yoked rhyme skills, and having been frequent
Bro, do you know how crazy that would have been, bro?
Collaborators in the past, Gotti was sure that Murder Inc. would be the biggest rap group in hip-hop history. They would release 2 songs under the name Murder Inc., Murdergram, and It's Murder. However, egos would get in the way, and the group album never materialized. Gotti wasn't going to let a good idea go to waste. When he was offered a deal from Def Jam to form his own record label under their imprint, Irv decided to name his label Murder Inc. Records. Gotti came up with the name after watching a crime documentary about the notorious gang of hitmen known as Murder Incorporated. With his list of successes in the music business, Gotti looked at himself as a hitmaker.
Ooh, those guys are supposed to be real hit makers.
Or a hitman, as it's known in the business. In 1999, Def Jam and Murder Inc. released Ja Rule's debut solo single, Holla Holla, which was produced by Irv Gotti. Ja was fresh off of the success of his feature on Jay-Z's hit single, Can I Get Her, which appeared on Jay's Hard Knock Life album and on the Rush Hour soundtrack. Can I Get Her, which was also produced by Gotti.
That's what it was, the Hard Knock Life. That's when, that CD got Jay-Z famous in my eyes, and then the one after that, and then the Blueprint. It was, yeah, but reason, but that one, yeah, that one ain't pick off yet.
Gotti was originally a solo Ja Rule record, but after hearing a rough cut of the song, Jay-Z offered to pay for the record and leave Ja on as a featured artist. The momentum of the 2 records was enough to launch Ja Rule's debut album, Veni Vidi Vici, to platinum status, putting the Queens MC on the industry's radar as a hitmaker in his own right. Because of his deep voice and rap cadence, many fans were quick to compare Ja Rule to DMX, some claiming that Ja was in fact biting the dog style. Known for being hyper-competitive, DMX did not take well to the comparisons and began believing the hype that Ja Rule was in fact imitating him. Angered by the constant comparisons, DMX hit the studio with Styles P and Jadakiss of the Lox.
DMX has the Rough Rider.
to lay down a hard-hitting diss track aimed at Ja Rule titled We Don't Give a Fuck. The song was ironically produced by Irv Gotti, who at the time did not realize the song would be a diss to his artist and protege when he gave X the beat.
This you, homie.
Why would they diss me? I thought they were my homies.
Utterly enraged by X's diss, Ja Rule went into another zone and began trying to figure out ways to further separate himself from DMX.
And that's why after that first CD, he released the next one, if I'm correct, was Rule 336. That's when he started going the singing, rapping route. So now we understand, like, if y'all listen to that first CD, it was just straight rap. So when people say Ja Rule can't rap, he can rap. He did his own thing. But now knowing this is the reason why, it explains everything, man. It explains everything. But again, all this, this is y'all don't even understand. Like, if it was no Irv Gotti, it wouldn't be no Drake and Kendrick Lamar right now. And like, oh man, it's so much history. Like, that's why y'all gotta know y'all hip hop history, man. Hip hop history is Jesus, man. Everything is connected. Everything is connected.
So that no one could accuse him of biting his style. After long thought, Ja came up with the perfect solution. He decided that he was going to start making music that catered more to his female audience. Irv Gotti and Ja Rule immediately got to work on Ja's sophomore album. In June of 2000, Murder Inc. and Def Jam Records released the first single off of the album, Between Me and You, featuring Christina Milian. Produced by Gotti, the song was a massive smash, peaking at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100. In October of that year, Ja's second album, Rule 336, was released. Gotti's more polished production skills, mixed with Ja's commanding voice and more radio-friendly subject matter, made the album a commercial success. With the release of the album's second single, Put It On Me, featuring Vita and Lil Mo, and the third single, I Cry, Gotti and Rule appeared to achieve their goal, distinguishing the Murder Inc. sound from their hip-hop contemporaries. Now,
classic CD, man. I think that CD, and then the one that came after that. Man, how do I not? The one with 6 Feet Under. Was that the same CD? Oh no, I'm a little rusty right now on my Ja Rule stuff.
Now arguably one of the hottest record labels in the game, it seemed as though everyone was reaching out to Gotti for hits. Artists such as Mariah Carey, Eve, and Mary J. Blige wanted a piece of the Murder Inc. sound. But Gotti and Murder Inc. especially found success in working with a certain Latina pop star, Jennifer Lopez, a successful Hollywood actress and pop music star who had #1 movies and a #1 album. Coming off of a high-profile relationship with hip-hop mogul Sean Puffy Combs, she was the industry's it girl. But with the release of her second album, J-Lo, Jennifer was ready to shed her good girl pop image to appeal more to an urban audience. Her team would reach out to the one person that could give her street cred and deliver a hit, Irv Gotti.
She needs your help.
Sony Records would pay Irv Gotti and Ja Rule $500,000 to remix Jennifer's single, I'm Real.
You at least make sure it's black.
Be black as you can make it.
The song went on to be a #1 hit record, charting at the top of the Billboard 100 for 5 non-consecutive weeks, making it the biggest song of both J-Lo and Ja Rule's career up to that point. In October of 2001, Gotti and Murder Inc. released Ja Rule's third album, Pain Is Love, riding high off the momentum of the I'm Real remix and the album's lead single, Living It Up. The album would debut at the top of the charts, further solidifying Irv Gotti and Ja Rule as unstoppable hitmakers. Pain is Love also introduced the world to singer-songwriter Ashanti, who was featured on the album's third single, Always on Time. This song also became a number one record.
Yeah, and then Mesmerized. Oh yeah, man. Oh, and then Ain't It Funny. Oh, these were the times, boy, to be alive in hip hop.
It was followed by another number one with the remix to Jennifer Lopez's Ain't It Funny, featuring Ja Rule and produced by Irv Gotti. In 2002, Gotti and Murder Inc. Records released Ashanti's debut single,
like it was just hit after hit,
Foolish,
man,
which would go on to spend 10 weeks on top of the Billboard charts. Not surprisingly, her self-titled debut album came in at number one, selling more than 500,000 copies in the first week, with a long list of chart-topping hits and a seemingly endless supply of money and fame.
I'm on top of the world.
Murder Inc. Records was completely unstoppable, or so it seemed.
Boom, boom, boom.
In 2003, federal agents raided the New York City offices of Murder Inc., as well as the homes of Irv and Chris Gotti. The federal government had been investigating the Gotti brothers for the past 4 years due to their association with former Queens, New York kingpin Kenneth Supreme McGriff. Supreme had formerly headed the 1980 street crew known as the Supreme Team. Irv had met Supreme, or Preem as he was known in his inner circle, on the set of a CMC video shoot. The two were from rival neighborhoods in Queens, and prior to their first encounter, had never had any affiliation or association. Preem admired Irv's directing skills and wanted him to direct a movie that he had written himself. Over time, Preem and the Gotti brothers built up a friendship. The relationship was born out of mutual respect, but never anything illegal. The feds falsely suspected that Murder Inc. Records was funded by illegal drug money from Preem's organization. However, by the time that he and Irv had met in the early 90s, Preem was far from the drug kingpin he had been in the 80s. Following a 12-year stint in prison, Preem and his Supreme Team organization were no longer running the streets. Despite their lack of connection to any illegal activity, Irv and Chris Gotti were arrested and indicted on 2 charges: money laundering and conspiracy to money launder. They were facing 20 years in prison. The government offered Irv and his brother a plea deal. They would only have to serve 6 months.
So they were just guilty by association then. That's what that sounds like.
In prison if they cooperated with feds and gave up information on Supreme, who was facing a separate trial that involved drug trafficking and murder. Maintaining their innocence and refusing to give up information on their friend, especially since they didn't have any information to give, the brothers refused the plea bargain. They were willing to let the case go to trial in order to prove their innocence. Facing 20 years, even their lawyer could not guarantee that they would not go to prison. At the time of their indictment, the conviction rate for criminal cases at the federal level hovered around 99%. With the severity of the charges levied against them, the industry was quick to turn their back on Irv Gotti and Murder Inc. To make matters worse, almost overnight, Irv Gotti's business, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, was pulled from underneath him. With no budgets to work with, Murder Inc.'s ability to perform as a top record label was now gone.
Just like that!
God!
Another thorn in the side of Irv Gotti and Murder Inc. was the sudden ascension of their rival, a fellow Queens rapper named 50 Cent, with whom Gotti and Ja Rule had real-life street beef. 50 had been antagonizing Murder Inc. for a better part of the early 2000s, when he was just a relatively unknown mixtape rapper.
Now, in that time, have you and 50 Cent spoken, seen each other?
We've seen each other. We don't speak.
Did you ever speak to him before that? Before you had an issue? Before there was an issue? Were you and him cool?
No, I ain't know him.
You never knew him. So is that relationship, was it always because you were affiliated with Supreme? Was that always what it was?
I don't know. I was too busy getting a lot of money. He wasn't on my radar. And people like...
Did he ever try to get with Murder Inc.?
No.
Did he ever want to be on the label?
Absolutely not.
He was always wanted to be his own entity.
Absolutely not. I always wanted to be... And I don't know. People like... They tend to forget... Like he first came out at us with that murder, your life's on the line and stuff like that. Yeah, he got at us early, but we totally dominated him. Like, but people forget that loss that he took with that.
I don't remember that song.
His thing. Come on, he had the murder, your life's on the line record.
See, but now Gotti, how many years ago is that?
That's 20 years ago.
See, and I want to tell you something. I have a different eye. An opinion of it now 20 years later.
What's your opinion, Frank?
My opinion of it, Gotti, is I felt like now that we've seen, or I have seen how runs have a time.
Yes, we all have them.
I remember a few years back saying to myself, the change was not 100% coming from 50 Cent. It's coming from the change in the wave of the music, because once we get to what?
Similar. Listen, watch this. I'm gonna give
Drake.
you. I'm gonna give you.
Where we at now?
I'm gonna give you a comparison. It's similar to when you was puffied out and shiny suited out, and then X said, "And we get at me, dog. Let's take it back to the streets, motherfucker." And the shiny suits dimmed down, and it was about hood shit and street shit.
And
that's what happens in hip hop.
I feel like the Drake era, which is a great era, is here, and I feel like there is
Drake is super talented though, yo.
But I feel like there is an appreciation for the harder music.
But listen,
and it's not selling like that. But there's an appreciation.
Listen. That guy Drake is one of one, man.
Absolutely.
Because he's created so many lanes. Like, even if someone wants to make rap records, man, he could make Hotline Blings all day. And there's
it's a great thing.
And he could go into that lane and stay top dog. Drake is gonna be a hard one.
Ja Rule medicine, though. He
took the Ja Rule medicine and ran.
Oh
and
my God!
But he's singing like.
Oh my God! How relevant is this interview for today, bro? Oh my goodness, bro! I caught some fire right here.
He released records calling in to question Murder Inc. and Ja Rule's street credibility. But Gotti and Ja Rule, at the top of the rap game, were focused on making hits, not responding to an unknown rapper.
You know, the Wankster record, it was a snazzy tune, but it was nothing. We were so heavy making these big
look, Gotti's so cool. Look at this shit.
We were so heavy making big ass records. It was like, yeah, it's a snazzy tune, but who cares, right? People start mumbling to me, yo, he's with DRE. And DRE, I respect, like, he's the best producer, in my opinion, of all times. Of all times, he's ill. So I was like, shit, right? And then we was all in my office, Worldwide Plaza. Rule was in the office. We was in there having a good time. And here comes Flex at 7 o'clock. I got the new. So he said, all right, let's listen. Let's listen to it. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, oh God, fucking Dre, right? So boom. So then, but wait a minute, you're bringing it back. So I'm like, all right, the beat is fucking nuts. He may have one, but let's see if he connected the dots lyrically. He may have not connected the dots lyrically. You can find me in the. I'm like,
is it?
I turned to Rule and everyone in the office, and I said, yo, buckle up, we have a major problem.
This guy's hot.
This record, and he's with Jimmy Iovine, Dr. Dre, and fucking Eminem. We have a problem.
Now when I'm taking this record back, is Ja tight at me? A little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
a touch.
Listen, you could ask any rapper who's ever been involved in a beef or anything, they're all gonna be like, yo, I'm an executive. So I went into straight like, yo, I gotta think of what to do. You understand? I gotta think of what to do to handle this massive wave. Cause let's be clear, whoever is the biggest rapper in the game really controls the world.
Absolutely.
Whoever's the biggest
And and he just said it. So think about Kendrick Lamar and Drake. This is where the Kendrick Lamar and Drake people. When people say Drake got Ja Rule, this is what they talking about right here, bro.
Biggest rapper, when he comes in the room, he's the nigga. I don't care. Like, listen, I remember when Usher sold all of them records, right? So like 18 million. We was at a party, but when we came in with fucking X and J, nigga, we was the niggas. You understand? And that's why people in hip hop fight so much, because who's on top controls the universe. Like, you understand? And anything he says, it goes. See what I'm saying?
But 50 rose to prominence after being shot an alleged 9 times and releasing a slew of popular mixtapes on the streets. His buzz caught the attention of Eminem, Dr. Dre, and Jimmy Iovine, who signed him to a $1 million record deal to Shady Aftermath Records, a subsidiary of Interscope Records. Now backed by arguably the most powerful conglomerate in the record business other than Murder Inc., 50 had a bigger stage to antagonize Irv Gotti and Ja Rule. He seemed more bent than ever to destroy Murder Inc., seeing it as an opportunity to raise his profile even more. Thanks to the powerful PR machine of Dr. Dre, Eminem, and Jimmy Iovine, fans would eat it up. 50's debut album, Get Rich or Die Trying, went multi-platinum, selling more than 10 million records worldwide. With 50 Cent now the biggest rap star in the game, Murder Inc. not only had to deal with a pending criminal trial, they also had to deal with the constant poking of their nemesis and his fans. With virtually no support from their label or the industry, Irv Gotti and Murder Inc. were rendered defenseless in their fight against the machine of 50 Cent and the machine of the federal government. Not guilty. Irv and Chris Gotti were acquitted on all charges. Freeing later, the jury emerged with the verdict. Not guilty. Irv and Chris Gotti were acquitted on all charges, freeing them of the years-long entanglement with the federal government that could have put them away for many years. The trial cost Irv and his brother hundreds of millions of dollars in legal fees and lost business opportunities, severely damaged their reputation in the industry, and caused much strife in their personal life. But their name was finally cleared. After the trial, Gotti and the Inc. Records would eventually strike a new deal with Universal Music Group. No longer on Def Jam, the label saw great success with the release of the hit single You by R&B sensation Lloyd featuring Lil Wayne. The song shot to the top of the charts, seemingly putting the Inc. back at the top of the music business. But after a number of shady business practices by Universal executives, dissonance between he and his artists Lloyd and Ashanti, and his star artist Ja Rule being sent to prison on an unrelated gun charge, Gotti was fed up with the music business. He decided to take a break and lay low for a number of years. What Gotti did for hip-hop culture is nothing if not incredible. As a young black man from the streets of Queens, New York, Gotti was instrumental in helping to bring hip-hop music to new levels of mainstream success. From introducing the world to groundbreaking artists such as Jay-Z, DMX, and Ja Rule, to dominating the charts for most of the early 2000s with Murder Inc. Records, Gotti proved that there's no limits to what the culture could achieve.
Yeah, man, I just wanted to just school some of y'all, because a lot of people don't even know how important Irv Gotti was to the history of hip-hop. So, with him passing away, I just wanted to do, just deep dive into this and, catch up on some history and also inform some of y'all. But shout out to the guy that made this documentary. It's C-Sweet Music on YouTube. Make sure y'all go check out his channel. And I got the other content from Funk Flex. So yeah, rest in peace to Irv Gotti, man. Like I said, it's funny, like watching this. It reminds me of like Diddy getting raided, his house raided, and then it reminds me of the Kendrick and Lamar beef, and it's just like life repeats itself. It cycles. But yeah, You know, rest in peace, man, to one of the great pioneers of hip hop. And leave your comments down below, and I'll catch you guys next time. Remember, you got the juice now, and we are out. Voodoo.